First off this morning, we have ToastyTote getting ready to give you a presentation on what they are doing here in Kansas City. So give them a big round of applause.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? All right, I'm going to my name's Christian Corley.
Hi there, I'm Connie Robertson.
And Chris Vaughn.
And this morning, I'm going to try to channel a little Steve Jobs, because he always got to talk about really cool stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit about some cool stuff this morning as well. Hopefully you get as much out of that as you would with Steve. So, everybody talks about the aha moment. We want to take you back a year ago and give you a little taste of what the aha moment was all about. So there I was sitting at my son Dakota's early morning football game, and it was a little chilly. And the person next to me, doesn't she look cold? And I kind of felt bad for her. And then there was another guy that came up next to me, and he had one of these. And then he started getting his chair out of the bag, and it got stuck, and he threw it down. True story. So as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, there's a way of making something that carries the chair that very easily comes apart, but when you're done with it, you can put your legs in it and keep warm. Look how warm she is now. So as soon as I left that game, I thought, how can I do this? And I thought of my friend Connie. And Connie's an incredible clothing designer, and so I gave her a call, and she started making a prototype.
So Christian's first vision for the ToastyTote, in the beginning it only really had two features, two uses, and that was the chair carrier and the ToastyTote. But what Connie did was, with our incredible designer Connie, she started developing our prototypes. And then here in the last year, we've gone through 4 different prototypes. And as each prototype was introduced, we just started adding more and more features. So really what happens is, have you ever gone to a sporting event, one of those soccer games, you're out there early in the morning, it's just freezing cold, and you didn't bring a blanket, you have nothing to cover up with? Well, the first feature of ToastyTote is what we call the Toasty. And that's what Connie's demonstrating right now. Basically, you just put it over your legs, put it up over your bottom, keeps you nice and warm, nice and toasty. Number 2, so you're at that same game, and we know how Kansas City weather is. Storm comes in, starts raining a little bit, you're cold on the neck and shoulders, and you just wish you had something to kind of wrap up in. So it converts real quickly to what we call the poncho. So that's the second feature. Then you have a ToastyTote in the trunk of your car. Have you ever thought about having a spontaneous picnic? Just pull off the side of the road, pop open the trunk, lay the picnic blanket out, you're ready to go. The fourth feature is the seat cushion, and that's how I have this demonstrated right here. So you walk into the game, we've all done it, you look at the bleacher, it's wet, it's cold, there's a big muddy footprint there, and you're going, I gotta sit on that. With the ToastyTote, basically you carry it into the game, set it down on the bleacher, sit on it, keeps you nice, warm, and dry. And then finally, if you guys thought getting the chair out of the bag was a problem, have you ever tried putting the chair back in the bag? So with the ToastyTote, when you're done, you just lay it down. It's 2 quick foldovers. You drop the chair in it, 2 Velcro straps, throw it over your shoulder, walk out to your car, throw it in your trunk, and you're ready to use it the next time you go to the game. So those are the 5 features of the ToastyTote.
So Connie made the 4th prototype. We know we were kind of onto something when we started field testing it, and that is a real picture. Kids can tear apart ToastyTote in about 37 seconds. There was hot dog juice and ketchup, and we're not really sure some of the stuff that's on there. But the good news is it's machine washable, and it's very tough, very high quality materials. We also put a contest up on our Facebook, and we had about 250 uses that our fans had suggested they would use it for. And our favorite one in this comment section on the card says, I would keep 2 in my car for emergencies, a sudden picnic, and for sports and travel. So our competition. They're basically Coleman, L.O. Bean, lots and lots of blankets out there. None of them carry the folding chair. Some of them say 2-in-1, some of them say 3-in-1. Well, we're 5-in-1, so that's better. Okay? So right off the bat. But basically, nobody does everything that all the features and benefits that we have.
So
the market,
real quick,
Yep.
we got about a minute left here.
Yep.
Soccer moms, football dads, sports fans, take it camping, hunting, fishing, roadside emergencies. Keep in your trunk. You never know when you're going to have to pull over the side of the road. Anywhere that it's cold. I know your wife's ever been to a restaurant, to a theater, and, honey, I'm cold. There you go. You got your ToastyTote.
So how are we going to go to market? Well, we just did. So we just finished. Yay! All those Kickstarter fans out there and those that are not, it's an all or nothing. On Monday night, we exceeded the goal by almost $1,000. And so we were really pleased. Our 177 backers really took good care of us. So now, the next step, we just closed our first round of funding. Now we have partners, Dan Cooper and Ted Stan here in town and also representing St. Louis. Our production sample from the factory arrives today. We're excited. Are you excited? So that's pretty cool. Can't wait to get that. Then right now we're opening channels right now. And I'd say the biggest thing is we're available for pre-order online right now. And my son Dakota and his friend Jack, I think they say it best. Maybe. Thank you very much.
All right, open for questions.
So I'll kick it off with a question over here on your right. The question that we have a lot of times when we have physical products, you made something. What was that journey like actually going through designing it and then prototyping it, and now how were you able to find the best partner to actually get it manufactured? So talk us through the actual building process of getting this made.
When Christian came to me a year ago, he said, "Can you make this?" And I'm like, "What's this?" And he handed me a sleeping bag. He says, "I need it to stay on me to keep me warm, but I want it to carry a chair." And I was like, "Okay." So I cut the sleeping bag apart, and then I handed it back to him and said, I can't do this. It's too big. It's too bulky. It's not going to fold up. It's just going to be a frumpy mess. So after that, it took me about 12 hours, I think it was, to actually complete the entire process of figuring out what size to make it so it fits as many people as possible. And having the drawstring at the top, when you can cinch it up, that's the most important thing right there, to hold it on you. But then we wanted to keep converting, and so with all those changes, I kept going back to Christian and saying, "What do you think? What do you think?" And then he said, "That looks good. How about colors?" And then it was just one step after another of moving the Velcro from the left to the right and the right to the left. It kept tipping over this way, and the handle would be wrong, and the zipper was in backwards a couple times. So...
What did it look like when you actually found a partner to do the manufacturing piece of it?
The manufacturing part was kind of a wild ride. I mean, you'd think that just with all the factories everywhere that you would it would be a pretty easy deal, but it really took us about 4 months. We were really fortunate to find a great manufacturing partner in Ohio. Is actually a friend of mine works for a company that they do a tremendous amount of product for them. So that manufacturing partner in Ohio has 7 factories all over the world. We know the ToastyTotes, for at least the first couple runs, will be made overseas at one of their factories. But the nice thing about that is they have redundancy. So if there's a problem in one country, then they can shift production over to another facility. But that was a lot tougher than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
He has one over here.
Great job. Love the idea. Tell us about how you're protecting what you have your hands on to make sure that you get the true success from this product and nobody else does.
Well, it's actually it's patent pending right now. We have a provisional patent, and just kind of waiting for the regular patent to come on through.
There's really no way to protect. I mean, people will knock stuff off pretty. The thing for us to do is get to market quick, make it as big as you can, as fast as you can. That's the best protection you can.
That, and we feel kind of secure in that our competition, there's really nothing like that out there. Coleman does have what they call a 2-in-1, 3-in-1, and it's basically just a blanket that folds up and fits into a little carrier with a strap, and that's it. So we took it the next step and made it multifunctional, really.
Another question in the middle here.
Great product. I've frozen my tail off at the Overland Park Soccer Center many times. So do you sell the product with the chair, or is it just the ToastyTote? And how did you go through the process of setting a retail price?
Great questions. No, that just comes, ToastyTote's by itself. There's billions of chairs out there already. If anybody has any connections with some chair manufacturers, we'd like to chat right after. That'd be good. Because we can see this at, in Cabela's, Costco, sitting right next to those folding chairs. And again, anybody has a brother that works high up in those companies? Let's chat. Okay. So setting the price was pretty easy for us. You just take the manufacturer price and then you double it to be able to sell it online right now. Later on, when we get into wholesale, that's when everything gets squished down. And we've checked out, we've got some connections in QVC. And that's when we really have to get everything compressed. So right now it's go to market, get some big quantities, compress the price, be able to sell it. Right now the retail price is $49.95, but we're selling it pre-order right now for $29.
He has a question.
Great product. I'll definitely be buying some. We have a question. Congratulations on hitting your Kickstarter goal. That's really cool. We just launched an Indigo campaign. So my question to you is, how did you get your campaign out there? Did you do anything besides friends and family, or how did you launch that?
Well, that was, it was actually probably 2 years ago. A really good friend of mine, Glenn Fisher, had asked me to help him with the Kickstarter campaign. And Chris and I actually shot that video. And then we also helped another friend of ours shoot a video, and they went on Indiegogo. So we had some experience in that part of it, but we had no idea. It was a wild ride. I can tell you, Kickstarter, some days you feel lonely. I mean, you feel nobody loves you, everything's going bad, and then like 10 minutes later, bling, somebody throws $1,000 in there. I mean, it's kind of a wild ride. I can say that we did a lot of prep work on Facebook. We did a lot of prep work, friends and family, but you really never know until people pull out their credit card. The nice thing about Kickstarter is, if you don't know Kickstarter, that you make a pledge, and then if it goes 30 days later, 60 or 90, whenever their deadline is, if it goes, then their credit card gets charged. So it looks like that helps a little bit, that people, it's not real money until it gets charged. So I think there's a little exuberance in the beginning of that, so that was kind of helpful too. But keeping posting, answering questions, it's an amazing experience. We had so much feedback from our backers that made suggestions that we've already modified. The factory sample coming in today has already had 2 modifications to it that we never even dreamed of until we put it on Kickstarter. So you got to have that interaction.
The other cool thing about Kickstarter that we found once we got into the process is a lot of our backers were people that know Kickstarter. Thank goodness for that. There are just a lot of people that get on Kickstarter every day, and they just kind of troll through there, and they find things that they want to help out and back. And a lot of our backers came through those channels.
Another question here on your left.
So when are you going to put this or going to get sports teams and logos on those? Maybe talk to Rumble, I don't know.
And your brother works for who? Okay, just check. No, actually,
I know
that
this
is
guy.
Right now, or you, yes. Right now, that is, you want to take that?
Well, we get that question a lot, and I think a lot of you know that there's a huge expense to get involved with licensing, even in the the college levels, and then when you get into like the NFL and that type of thing, it's just huge. You have to be in business for almost 2 years. You have to show a huge profit for a couple of years before the NFL will even talk to you. I think what we might do is follow the lead of Sox 101. You guys are probably familiar with him. He had a very successful Kickstarter campaign here in Kansas City. And basically what they're doing is we're just going to produce colors that kind of match the local teams. So right now, we did a lot of research, and our first 3 colors are going to be the black and gold or the black and gray. Then we're going to have the blue and then the red and white. And our research showed us that those are the most popular sport team colors if you combine all the college, NFL, hockey, basketball, baseball, etc. So our first run from the factory is going to be in just those 3 colors, but as time goes on, as we get more sales, we have a lot of people asking us about that ugly purple color. But anyway,
Wrong.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
I would say though that so many people go down that same road. The first thing they have to see it and say, oh, okay, I see how that fits in my life. With those 5 uses, we find that the majority of people have about 3 uses, but they're all different compared to each other. But as soon as they see that, they say, hey, how about my kid's soccer team? How about my kid's football team? How about my high school team? How about my college team? How about my pro team? All those, we're looking for channel partners right now. We're going to partner up. We've already made some connections in that, but that's actually one of the things we're looking for right now. The 3 main things that we're looking for, I'll just go ahead and say them now, but the 3 main things we're looking for: channel partners. We've got a couple advisory board positions, someone with a lot of mass retail experience, a person with mass distribution experience. We just want to cut our learning curve on those tremendously. And the last one, of course, is buy more ToastyTotes. Did that answer all your questions, sir? Perfect.
So I know it's after Thanksgiving, but there's a room full of people here. Somebody has to have a question about. Okay, good.
So what is your background and how did it lend itself to doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely nothing like this. A year ago, actually, Chris and I started another technology company called Perked, a social rewards app. So that's what we were doing a year ago when this came up. But you know, after about 9 months of the developer not developing, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, we're the only ones probably had that experience. Sorry to any developers in the room. But anyway, we just needed a break from the ones and zeros. So this is what's really cool about, this country is built on making stuff. So it was, I can tell you, we love technology, but this has been a blast to actually be able to make something and feel it. And this is what Connie has been doing for many, many years.
I wish I was good at the tech stuff. I'm horrible. Instead, God gave me a gift of ADD and the ability to create and continue to create and change and repurpose and redesign things. I taught myself how to sew about 5-6 years ago, and it's just evolved from there for me.
She's a fabric expert, and can you tell me a little bit about your autism connection?
Yeah, I actually worked a few years in a center for children who have autism, and I'm currently working at Shawnee Mission Medical Center at IDC, the Infant Development Center with Leanne Britton, and I work there with children that happen to have autism or other special needs, and this has actually kind of come in handy for a lot of the families.
So I have an idea, I guess. One of the things that I really like to do late at night is watch infomercials, and it's funny because they're like famously bad, but it makes them viral. So you have like the Snuggie, the Slanket, the Slap Chop, or the Chop, whatever. You have all sorts of these different things, ShamWow, that have some type of underlying sort of comedic narrative to it. And then now you've started with like Dollar Shave Club and some of these other consumer products moving into a viral kind of comedy thing. So I would love to hear about your plan to market, and I think that's something that you should consider is how can you almost poke fun at yourself? It seems like people really like that.
I think you're dead on. We've actually, the people who put the Kickstarter video together is Brockton Creative. Highly recommend them, great people down there. But we're also working with another company, Loki, and they've already proposed the viral video to us. And Dan, are we gonna do that? It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. You talk about poking fun. Shave Club was one of our inspirations on that. The Joe Boxer, little out there, if you saw that little holiday jingle bell thing. Anyway, so we are definitely looking at that right now, but we think that would help us with that big explosion. Great thought.
I think he has a question over here.
Oh, it's made of fleece and ripstop nylon on the outside. It also has a parachute clasp style. It's a breakaway so that it can open up.
Now I'm Vanna White.
And all of these that are up here are the ones that Connie has actually made
I
from
made all of
scratch.
them.
They're not
Yeah.
factory.
And they're all different.
12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours. She's getting really good
Yeah, I
at
can do
this.
it in 5 hours now. I can make it in 5 hours, down from 12. I know.
So going through this over here on your left, going through this process, what has been the biggest roadblock or the biggest challenge that you've hit getting to where you are today?
I think it was the manufacturing. I mean, that was, again, quite surprising. The other thing is we want to make this in the U.S. I mean, if we could have a made in U.S. on it, that would just be the biggest blessing. So that was absolutely the biggest challenge. The rest of it has been a ride. But after you come off 9.5 months with the developer, then that manufacturing thing was pretty cool. And actually the manufacturer that the partner that we've got in there, they may come on as a board member too. So they're pretty excited about it, and they don't just do that, to be nice. So that's a pretty big honor too.
I have a guy back here.
Another question over here to your right, and then we'll get to the other side of the room.
I just wanted to ask, when or how did you guys make the decision to pursue this full time? And how did that balance with your lives and careers as it was?
Well, go ahead.
Well, it seems like it's full-time, but we all still have day jobs, so it's a lot of hours. We kind of got used to it. Like Christian said, a year ago, we started another project that was a tech project, and every night, 11 o'clock, midnight, we're having Google Chats, just trying to keep the information flow going. But it's a huge commitment. Basically, you kind of have your daily life, and every other second that you have in between, you're either working on designing a new card or taking new photographs or promoting it to family, friends, getting it out there. That's pretty much what it is. It's just a very time-consuming commitment.
I happen to have 3 children, 15 and a half, 13, and 10, and that's full-time, plus a husband.
That's full-time.
That's full-time. And I work outside the home, so I pretty much have these bags under my eyes for a reason. I stay up till about 1 or 2 every night sewing after everything else is done.
She was up last night sewing some new really incredible things that she's making for the kids with autism. But our 2 new partners, they're working at it full-time right now, and we've actually got a team of about 7 people right now. So as that comes on, we'll bring more and more people to help us with the journey.
Okay, question over here in the back.
So you'd mentioned the manufacturing. I was curious, could you share with us some of the challenges you face with getting it manufactured here?
In the U.S., it basically comes down to price. The lowest U.S. price that we were able to secure so far is $38.90. So that's, you just can't compare to the thing with ToastyTote that's good about it is it has a lot of features. And the struggle in manufacturing is you add a reversible zipper, you add each of the nylon straps, each of the Velcro straps, everything just keeps adding up. So, and there's a lot of labor to put that together. So hopefully as it goes along, we will probably have 2 or 3 different ToastyTotes, kind of a low, mid, and then high end. High end, we've already been asked about camouflage. That was the other thing that people in hunting want that. And if anybody are really good friends with Duck Dynasty, I don't have a beard. Oh, we got some fans right there. So if you know the Duck Dynasty guy, all we want to do is put and they don't have camouflage, they have duckolage, so we want to get a little duckolage on them. Also, Thinsulate would be another high end for some of our friends in Canada have already asked, does this come in Thinsulate? So there's going to be more products to come.
Yeah, Polar Tech is something I'm looking for to put inside here too.
That's a great question. It was friends. It's putting out to your network. LinkedIn was pretty instrumental in getting a lot of the first contacts together, but it literally was getting on the phone. I took a day off and did nothing but calling and put out 100 calls in one day. Then from that, one of our manufacturers, or the local a factory rep, local, that has factories all over the country, started him on that journey while we went on the rest. But it ended up being one of my really good friends, or our neighbors, who moved to Ohio, and he went to work for a company who this company manufactures for them, so he hooked me up with them. That's how it ended up being. But it was a struggle, but it's highly worth it. I mean, I think that's what, I think the brick walls in our lives are there to see how bad you want to get through it. So you just got to persevere.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys very much, and give them a round
Thank you.
of applause.
Thank you.